Hey guys, today I want to talk about what most new people forget when they come over here to date in the Philippines. A lot of new guys think that they're just going to jump off the plane and they can find a woman right away, and there's a lot of issues that go along with it. We're going to kind of delve into that today because I've been talking with a lot of the guys that are what I would call kind of serial daters. They just keep on dating and dating, trying to find the right person. It's not that they're sex pats or anything. They're really not. They're just people that they're looking for Mrs. Right, and sometimes Mrs. Right is kind of hard to find over here. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of us, when we reach our 60s, we've already gone through a divorce or two or three, or some people probably even four or five, who knows, but like after you've gone through a few of those, you're kind of like looking for a certain type of person, and you don't want to get involved in another relationship where it's going to just fall apart or whatever. A lot of the guys are looking for either somebody to marry, or they're looking for a forever relationship pretty much that they can kind of delve into and just be happy, and when they die, their girlfriend will be taking care of them forever, if they get sick or whatever. But here's the problem. A lot of these guys that I've talked to, and I've been talking to Justin, and I've talked with many of the guys in my group about this. When we talk about dating and stuff like that, a lot of stuff comes up, and there's a lot of women out there that there's poverty issues with, health issues, family issues, and a lot of these issues we don't have back home. Usually when you date a girl, you meet the family, something like that after a while, and you get to know them, and you're usually pretty good with them because you have a lot in common with them. Whereas over here, you really don't have a lot in common with those people somewhat, because they're a different culture and it's totally different. And the other part is this, is that when you're talking to some of these girls over here, is that some of them are very evasive about some of the things that you want answers to. And if they're evasive, that usually means they're trying to hide something. They want to get that ring on their finger, and they want to, be quick about this because they want to make it fast. And a lot of girls start talking about marriage probably even like a first week or second week, or sometimes even the first night that you date them. And I've heard that from many guys here. They start talking about marriage almost immediately. Some of them, like it's if you start talking to them online or something, they start talking about that. Filipinos are very, very fast on that. And there's a reason for it. That usually means run, because there's something wrong. It doesn't mean that they love you, because all these girls will start talking love 15 minutes after you talk to them, and it's kind of crazy sometimes because we don't have that in the U.S. We don't have that, and it's culture, and there's a lot of other issues that you run into over here. And a lot of guys, they meet some girl, she's really beautiful, and they're overlooking all those issues, and they're just, they just look focused on the beauty of the girl. And man, I got it made here, and stuff like that. But that's something else talking, and it's not this talking. Let's face it. It's you have that physical attraction, you have that attraction to them, and you're like thinking about that versus thinking about all the other issues that go along with it. And you start, sometimes some guys just jump in, and then they start having the problems. They start seeing the problems with the girl. Maybe the girl's not mature. Maybe she's threatening you. Maybe she starts doing stuff later on, or she starts seeing you as an ATM or whatever, the human ATM, and these are some of the issues that you're going to run into over here. So the issues that you had back home, a lot of guys say, well, I don't want to date American women because of this, and this, so I come over here because I'm sick and tired of all the stuff that goes on back home, the politics and the politics with the women, so I come over here to solve that. Well, you didn't. You didn't solve it. You come up with a whole bunch of different problems. And a lot of guys, they just kind of overlook that. And sometimes you get really lucky and you meet somebody right away and she's got her head screwed on right. And a lot of guys do. And I'm not saying every Filipino woman's the same, or they're all screwed up, or they're all messed up. But we got our share over here too, just like you have back home. And it's just a different set of problems. Like I said, the poverty, the going at thinking you're a human ATM, could be their family issues. Maybe they come from a family that's just not probably the best family to be around. They could be criminals. They could be just poverty stricken and beggars or something like that. Or that's why I say look for educated or semi-educated women over here because you're going to be way better off. A lot of guys are fearful of dating a woman over here with an education, and it's because of what they came from back home. A lot of guys that come over here I'll just say this, they were not the top 10% in the dating scene. You know what I mean? They were probably in the bottom 50% or bottom 60% or something like that. A lot of guys, I'm just being honest, because I mean, you just see them come over here and they suddenly they've risen to the top because they got money. Because they got money, and they have a lot to offer a lot of the women over here because of that money. Even if they're making $1,500 a month, they still have a lot to offer some of the women over here. And a poverty-stricken woman is going to look at that guy like that's her way out of poverty. Even though the guy's getting $1,500, it could be $1,200 in some cases. Some of these women are like, man, he's making $1,200. Like to them, that's a fortune to make every month. For us, it's nothing. And for a guy that's making between $2,000 to $3,000 a month or more, man, they just married the bank, in some cases. And I'm not saying the women here are all about money, and I'm not saying the women here are all messed up and stuff like that, because they're not. They're not. But there are those women over here that have those issues. The majority of women over here are good, decent women, but everybody is going to have their problems, just like you do. And you bring some baggage with you, I'm sure, and you realize it, and, some guys don't, but even we, as Americans, carry our baggage with us. We definitely carry our baggage with us. But these girls, you start talking to some of these girls over here, and I've heard this from all these different guys, and you ask them about their backgrounds, and they're very vague and evasive about telling you their backgrounds. And you really need to they'll ask you 50 million questions, but the second you start asking them questions, they won't answer those. And that could be like a red flag right there for you to say, you know what, this girl doesn't want to talk to me about her past. Maybe she's got something to hide. Maybe she's hiding kids. A lot of the girls over here, believe it or not, will hide the fact that they have 2 or 3 kids because the kid's back in the provinces being taken care of. And then you get married to them and you find out the girl has 2 or 3 kids or maybe 4 kids. They need to be upfront with you on stuff like that. And for you guys that are marrying younger women, that's a whole different ballgame all by itself, because you're going to get into the younger issues. I tell people, I think you're way better off getting involved with a woman that's middle-aged, because I think you're way better off finding somebody closer to your age. You have a lot more to talk about than you do waking up with a 22, or even some of these guys are looking for 18-year-old girls and stuff like that, and 25-year-old girls and stuff, and that's fine for some people. I mean, if you can deal with it, but a lot of these girls don't have the education. Geographically, you ask them a question about geography, they don't know about Philippine history. A lot of these girls, and some of them do. That's why I say sometimes you might be looking for an educated girl. If you're smart, you're halfway decent looking, you might want to find a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody that's halfway educated, and you probably have a lot in common with them too. And you probably, when you merge that kind of money together, you're kind of like a power couple, because you can do a lot more with that kind of money. If you're a power couple over here, man, you got it made. Let's say you get married to a doctor or a dentist. She's making $2,000 to $3,000 a month or something like that. You're making $2,000 to $3,000. That's $6,000 a month. You can live in a nice house. You can live a good life. People kind of tend to rule out that stuff and say, I don't want to get a doctor. I want to find one of these girls from the provinces. She's going to be all over me. Blah, blah, blah. But you know what? You got those problems that come along with that. The family, the father gets sick. This one gets sick. That one gets sick. What are you going to do? Because you're gonna get called into that. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're with somebody that has that kind of money, they can help their family. And usually the family is semi-wealthy if they put a kid through college to be a doctor or a dentist or an attorney or an accountant or something like that. If you get in with the right family and the right people, right circles here, you can find a really, really good, decent woman. A lot of Filipino women, even if they're just with a regular education and they're smart and you can make it with that, and with some girls, but really get to know these girls. And these guys that are serial daters, there's nothing wrong with it. If anything, everything is right with that, because they're trying to find a person that meets their criteria. And it's kind of fun dating too sometimes. You're meeting these girls and you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself, and then you find out, that this isn't going to work out, but at least I made a new friend. You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't end that way. Some of these girls, man, you'll have them knocking on your door in the middle of the night saying, "Oh, honey, I want to be with you. I promise I'll be better," and all that. It's they can get crazy sometimes. Some of these relationships can go downhill, and sometimes they can get mean, and it can go that direction too. And God help you if it happens that way. That's why sometimes I tell people, if you think you're gonna have a problem with a girl, go down to the barangay and say, "Look, I think this girl's a nut. I want to let you guys know before something happens, so that I can, we can try to work on this maybe down here at the barangay. But I'm letting you know in advance. This girl has already showed her colors. This is what I want to do." Be careful, guys. Be careful. And it's okay to be a serial dater. It's okay. I rather see guys out there serial dating, and constantly doing that to try to find somebody. That's okay. That doesn't make you a sex pad or anything like that. It doesn't. It means you're looking for Mrs. Right. I get it, and at our age, most of us are in our 50s, 60s, even 70s, and we're trying to find Mrs. Right. And I'm not saying to lower your standards. By all means, I don't think you should lower your standards. I think you should find the woman that is right for you and make sure she's the right one. And when you find Mrs. Right, then either if you want to get married or have her as a life partner, then do what you need to do. You know what I mean? But I understand there's other people around here that it's not serial dating. They're sex pats. That's up to them. I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different video by itself. I'm not even going to get into that. That's not what this channel's about. We're talking about dating and dating issues and all that stuff. But I wanted to discuss that today. I thought it'd be kind of a cool topic, and I know you guys always like to add your comments and stuff, and that's fine. Because we get a lot of cool comments on here, really good comments too, and I thank you guys for writing those comments, because sometimes you guys give me ideas on videos, and me and some of the guys here or I'll talk to some of the people online sometimes on the phone or something, and we'll have some good conversations, and it makes a great video for me the next day. Sometimes we talk about stuff, and I'll just write down a note, and that'll kick me off into another vlog. You know what I mean? So you guys always, you guys inspire me too. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I thought it was kind of an interesting topic to touch on. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care, guys.